Now, you're all quite new, so another show of hands now, we've got a full house. Less than a year in aesthetics? Yeah, more than a year? More than 5 years? No. Okay, so a couple of you. Right now. So what are you not very good at? So what areas do you struggle with the most? When I talk to aesthetic practitioners, a lot of them, it's sales and marketing. You've come from the NHS. It's quite a big change to go from that environment to suddenly running your own business and to ask for money for treatments. Yeah, so it could be the finances side of things. A lot of people just abdicate that and just hope the accountant will get on with it. So there's a lot of areas. So I would strongly suggest you look at what area you're struggling with the most. Could it be that you're not clear on where you're going and why you're going there? And this is one I come across quite a lot, especially for people that have been in business for a while. They're kind of just bumbling along. Or they don't know their numbers, they don't know their finances. Now, John's going to talk a little bit about that, but these are the things I'm just trying to prepare you for those who are brand new in business, are the areas that you need to be prepared for. So a lot of people say, oh, it's okay, I just need patients coming through the door, or I just need better marketing, or I just need more training. That's a classic one. Or I need to buy that new piece of equipment. Yeah, get started on the fundamentals first, get really good at those before you start investing heavily. And then another classic one, I just need to do what everybody else is doing. This is a very competitive market. If you're copying what everyone else is doing, how can you stand out from the crowd? And we're going to talk about competition in a minute. Or, I'm great at injecting, great with my patients, surely that should be enough. And unfortunately, in this day and age, it isn't enough. I mean, back when I first started in 2005, you could almost open your doors and they would come. Today, it's much different. Would you agree, John? Your business has been around since 2002, so very different today. So, most business owners, on the other hand, just focus on what they're really good at, their strengths. But if you focus on your strengths, it's a bit like going to the gym and really working out your upper body. You're going to actually get out of alignment. So don't just focus on your strengths. Think about what area is your weakest link. Think about, the businesses that have gone wrong in terms of the big names that we've heard about that have gone pop overnight just by one thing. So just when you go back home, just think marketing, sales, finance, whatever it is, you are the director of your business. You're the investor of time, energy, emotion, blood, sweat, tears, etc. So it's not wise, the reason I'm sharing this is to abdicate this and to just let someone else get on with it. If you understand the basics, then you can delegate things appropriately when you're too busy to deal with them and you've got the money to outsource them properly. So if you score yourself in each area, 1, if you are good at this 10% of the time, and 10 if you're good at this 100% of the time. These are the main things I would say. Managing your time, control over finances, good at understanding social media and marketing, good at cross-selling and upselling, ethically, of course, and motivating yourself. Make sure that your goals are bigger than the challenges you face every day. So if your goals are up here, and you get up and there's some challenges every day, because we all have to face them as business owners, just make sure that you're good at actually just getting on with it and you don't just procrastinate. So the key to remember is you're only as strong as your weakest link. Obviously in sport, I've demonstrated that, and in business. So it's your great opportunity. So just look at where you need to improve. Obviously you're all here today, so that's a fantastic start. You do want to get the business and the marketing skills. So ultimately that means you could be one skill away from doubling your profits. So what's that skill for you? Is it marketing? Is it time management? I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So turn your biggest weakness into your biggest strength. Okay? So you say, see what I'm doing now? I'm doing strategy before tactics. I know you're desperate to get into the tactics and tell me about the marketing, tell me about the social media, but I'm just doing the why and the what before the how. So why did you actually get started in aesthetics? What's making you want to do this? Because you want to leave the NHS, because you obviously see that it's a growing industry, you can use your skills, you love it. What is it? What's your real driver? If it's just money, ultimately that won't be the thing that will take you forward. It has to be more than that. So where do you want to be? Who's actually now, we're at the start of a new year, well, we're a month in, who's actually written a plan for their business and knows what they want to achieve? Show of hands. Hello. A few people. This is what I see a lot. I hope it's going to be a success. I think I'm going to do really well. I believe, I wish, but that's not a strategy for a profitable business. Yeah, that's, I'll show you what that is in a second. So a long-lasting business, profitable business, doesn't happen by accident. It happens on purpose. So get it out of here, even if it's just on one A4 sheet of paper. If you need a template, I can send you one, it's fine. But just get your thoughts out of your head onto paper. It makes your brain able to help you deliver on those thoughts, you know, get them out of your head. Make sure your business is created by design. You've designed it, this is your life, this is what you want to achieve, and not by default. It kind of just happened, you know. This is what I see 10, 15 years down the line when people ring me for help and they've bumbled or they've been on that hamster wheel and now they're ready to get off. So you are in an ideal situation to plan right from the beginning. And the age-old plan to fail and you, fail to plan and you plan to fail. So Winston Churchill said that. So a strategic plan, I'm going to give you some pointers. It has to be a plan that's not just plucked out of thin air with goals that you might like to achieve at some point, with no real basis on how achievable they are or how they're going to get there. So you must base it on financials. So work back, by the end of this year, what do you want to achieve financially? How much do you want to take home with you every month? What do you need as a minimum to pay the bills and live? What would you need, you know, as a bit of a stretch? And then what would be really nice to have? If you set those minimum, target and outrageous 3 different goals, as long as you hit your minimum, you're going to feel great, you know, and you just keep pushing to hit the target and then the outrageous. Make sure whatever you decide is based on evidence and facts. So you get to the end of the year, you want to take home, I don't know, 5,000 a month or something. What does that mean in terms of number of patients, number of treatments? Work backwards from there. So 5,000 a month, I would, if you don't have many overheads, perhaps double that. You need to bring in 10 revenue. If you've got overheads, you probably need to bring in 15, 20 revenue. Yeah, does that make sense? So how are you going to get there? The road to success is never like that. It's never in a straight line. Sorry, it's all a bit like that, really. Any business owner would agree. Would you agree, John? You've been in business a long time. So, yeah, how are you going to get there? Now, the sad thing is, most people don't dream big enough. They kind of aim there and then they hit there, you know? So are your dreams, are you the goldfish that's pretending to be a shark? And the age-old SMART, you know, are they specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and timely? Are they realistic? Make a note of them. Like I say, just one sheet of paper if that's enough. Some people like reams and reams. Now, when I say about making your goals SMART, this is about what's achievable for you finance-wise, what you can do in that first year, second year. We're obviously in an event where you've got lots of things on offer, and the biggest excitement is, ooh, what's that new shiny new toy that's just come out that I want to spend a lot of money on? Now, if you're new in business, unless you have got a lot of money to invest, do not invest in the wrong things until you've done the right amount of research. So don't just assume your patients are going to want this treatment, or the sales rep told you it's going to make you rich tomorrow. Yeah, do the research, ask your patients, do a survey, pick up the phone, whatever you need to do. Because there's a bit of a joke, and anyone that's watching that sells equipment in here, what's the fastest way to get rid of an equipment sales rep is to actually buy it. So I'm just labouring a point, you know, again, I see, it sounds like I'm the voice of doom, doesn't it? I'm doing this on purpose to prepare you, because you're early enough in your business to be prepared, to not make the mistakes that I see where people have spent 100 grand, 200 grand on equipment, beautiful looking clinic, da-da, I'm ready to go, and I've got no money left for marketing. You need your marketing, yeah? So, what's getting in the way for you? What obstacles do you need to overcome? We've talked about those a little bit, but in business, You can't set sail. So think of your ship. You know, if it's got any holes in it, it's going to sink. So plug the holes first before you then turn it around and set sail. So a little home exercise. What skills and knowledge do you need? Clinical skills aside, of course, this is about business, marketing, finance. How much time are you going to commit to it every week? Do you perhaps need some help? You know, we haven't got time to talk about that much help today. You know, it might be just that you ask a friend, a family member. There's websites like People Per Hour, Elance. There's lots of different help out there. You don't need to commit to a full-time member of staff. But think about, you're the director of your business. What skills do you need to be able to delegate things appropriately, not just abdicate? So, as I say, we can't turn your ship around, so just think about all of this. And if your cash flow was halted for a month, again, this is another one I see, desperate to start in aesthetics, going to leave their job, and they've got no money to pay the bills. So do it slowly but surely, you know. Reduce your hours, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, 1 day a week. Just make sure you've got enough to cover the bills. So what's the biggest thing that stands in your way? Time, spending time on the wrong things, spending time on ineffective strategies, and then money. So money is the second one, really. If you haven't got the money to grow, it's kind of a chicken and egg, and we're going to talk about marketing in a second. So where are you spending time? Ask yourself this. What activities are an investment and will lead to more patients and profits? What aren't an investment of time to grow your business? So look at those. Which are a cost to your business? So make sure you're only spending time on things that will grow your business. So every time you're sat there doing the doing every day and you're really busy, just make sure, ask yourself, you know, have a little check with yourself. Is this going to grow my business? If not, stop. Get someone else to do it. If it's something basic, you know, like ironing, bookkeeping, phones. I say basic, the phones aren't basic. That's one of the most important things. How can you reduce your stress? How can you remove any time vampires in your life? We've all got them. Who are you spending time with? You're going to get the naysayers. Oh, what are you doing? You should go back to work. You're mad. You know, they don't like to see that you're doing something that they would like to do. You're being brave, taking a big step. So when it comes to things like this, if you are going to outsource and delegate, again, just make sure you know who you're delegating it to. So if it comes to phones, Aesthetic Response are here today. They manage phones for a lot of aesthetic businesses very well, because that's one area you cannot afford to miss, that one phone call. One phone call could be a £300 treatment, could be a lifetime value of £3,000. So if it's all based on your mobile, if your whole business is on your mobile, that's not a business. You need to get the right skills and spend time in the right area. So prepare for the unforeseen. Even just do, what's my plan B and possibly my plan C? So should anything happen to your health, have you got the right insurance, etc. So a bit of homework then. What do you need to do to improve your productivity, efficiencies, profitability, and the effectiveness of your marketing? So keep an eye on all of those things as you move forward in your business. Now I'm going to get into, we've got 10 minutes. I said I had a lot to get through, didn't I? So look at things differently. Now I thought I'd put this one in here just to, again, labour a point. We've all heard this one. Have we heard this one? Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, the guy that I learnt my business coaching training from, a guy called Dan Bradbury, he said that's what most business do. They're smoking what I like to call hopium. They're trying to do a little bit better this year, hoping that magically it's going to work and they're going to make lots of money. Insanity indeed. And he's a very clever guy, mid-30s, multimillionaire business owner. And he knows his stuff. So, the boring part, finance. Who dreads looking at the figures? Who just abdicates it to their accountant and just, well, let them get on with it. Give it to the bookkeeper. Come on, you can admit it in here. Yeah, a few brave souls. So, I say practical business finance. The reason I say that, because you've got a lot to obviously do as you set up your business. We've got a lot to face in terms of competitors, our own unproductive habits, all that kind of stuff that I've talked about. The fight for survival is tough, but obviously the rewards are worth it. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, you know. So what can you do to not just survive but thrive in a very competitive market? Number one is the practical business skills. I don't mean you become an accountant. This is having enough knowledge to know what's happening within your business and why it's happening. Yeah, so you can outsource the bookkeeping, that's fine. So this is all things that you can use that's proven to work, you know, not the VAT and things like that, but things, just 5 or 6 key performance indicators, key things to measure that will make a big difference to your business and what's happening. Because there's nothing worse than people come to me, and this happens quite a lot, by the way, it's quite normal. You know, I don't know how many patients I've got, they're all on paper record. You know, I don't know how many, what my average spend was, I don't know how many new patients I've got, where they came from in terms of marketing. I think it was from Facebook, or I think it was from referrals. I don't know. Look at the facts. Get a good system. We've got Richard Crawford Small at the back with iConsult. We've got lots of systems available. Even if you just start off with an Excel spreadsheet, don't get it all on paper. You know, you need to have all of these figures so you know what's happening in your business. You can do more of the good things and less of the things that don't work. Yeah. And most people say this: oh, I'm not very good at it. I'll let my accountant deal with it. I prefer not to look. I've got enough money in the bank, so I should be okay. Yeah, you're at the great stage in your business now. It's early enough to start tracking the numbers. Just the basics, like I say, revenue, profits, overheads, how many new patients, how many existing patients, what the average spend was, but more importantly as well, what the lifetime value of that patient could be. They could be worth 3,000 to you or more over their lifetime. So if it cost you with your marketing, you know, £100 to get them through the door, but they're worth 3,000, doesn't matter how many £100 you want to spend to get lots of £3,000 patients. That makes sense. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to spend this amount on marketing, track and measure it so you know what's happening. And the age old, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. Yeah. So turnover is vanity, but it's profits that's sanity, but actually it's cash in your pocket that's king. So how are you going to measure your success? Even like I say, it's just those 5 or 6 key numbers. If you don't measure them, it's a bit like driving a car without a dashboard. You don't know when you're going to run out of fuel, what speed you're going at, if a warning light's going to come on. Yeah. So don't assume, do your market research. Who's your ideal patient? Who are your competition? Again, the amount of people I see that say, oh, I've just opened up a clinic. Have you looked to see who your competition is, what's missing in the area, what's going well, what they're saying about themselves, what other people are saying about them? You know, have a look, do your market research. How are you going to stand out from the crowd? What's your competitive advantage? If you've never been a full paying patient before, how can you know how to market to them? You need to step into their shoes. You need to think like a patient, like a client. What are they really buying? It's not just vanity, it's everything, isn't it? It's confidence, it's hope of a better future, it's the overall experience. So when you're doing your marketing, is your marketing really talking in the right language to them? Now, from a Google perspective, other search engines are available, you can basically have to be a little bit careful that you don't use too many emotive words. Okay, so you wouldn't say, oh, recent divorce, why not try this treatment? You know, nothing like that. But you've got to be, anything you do, particularly if you're a doctor, base it on evidence and facts. So here's our before and after, and this is what we did, and this is the journey that patient went through. Yeah, so you've got to be very specific, but put yourself in their shoes, because most marketing doesn't. What are they really buying? They buy what they want, what they need. On the whole, they reach that decision with emotion. The latest Allergan research says that journey can take up to 10 years. So are you everywhere that they're looking online, you know, reviews, Facebook, clinic, you know, are they walking past your business and actually seeing that you are right for them? So think about, step into their shoes, what are the high emotional benefits going to be and what will it cost them? I don't mean financially, but literally, you know, in terms of new job, new map, whatever it might be, what will it cost them not to make the change? So we all know the journey of our clients. This information search, like I say, it can take up to 10 years. So are you in all the areas that they are looking? It used to be about 5 or 6 different touch points that people needed before they go, oh, I'm ready to pick up the phone now. You know, I've seen her on Facebook, my friends told me about them, I've walked past the clinic. Those number of touch points can be as many as 14, 15. So are you everywhere that your prospective patients are spending time? Are you making it easy for them to do business with you at every step of the way? And this whole experience, if you've done a fantastic job here with your marketing, have you got something that's letting you down over here? So you have to constantly look at all of these, every single touch point, and make sure that it's doing what it should be doing to give that person, that patient, a wow experience. Because you know what it's like? You've spent ages getting them to feel amazing, takes one thing, and you end up with a review that's not so favourable. So, principal motivations for your patients are fear of loss and opportunity of gain. So is all your marketing talking to that in the right way? Most people are quite confused. They've got information overload. If you can't see that, different ice creams, sugar-free, fat-free, vegan, organic, all sorts of things there. Your patients will be feeling the same. So they've got overwhelming choice of information online. They think they know what they want. They come and see you. They try and tell you your job. Yeah. But actually, you know, you've got an ideal opportunity now to market to them with educational marketing. So getting your brand out there with an educational, informative blog, you know, because they need to know how to stand how you stand apart from the crowd. Often the only thing they can tell you apart from your competitor is price. So if you ever get price shoppers call you, obviously some will genuinely be interested in pricing, but actually sometimes that's all they know what to ask about, you know? They don't know how to tell you apart from that clinic down the road. So what's different about you? What do you do better than anyone else? What do you do differently to anybody else? So homework then, profile your ideal client and look at your marketing. Who are you looking to attract? How can you market to them? Where can you find them? So in terms of what social media platforms do they use? What publications do they read? Do they share any commonalities? Are you looking to, you know, go after a specific niche for a specific treatment that you've got? Perhaps you're looking for, you know, ladies who lunch, or specifically men, or a specific ethnicity, whatever it is. Do your research to find out where they spend time so that your marketing is best reflecting that. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then think like a real patient. Turn your ideal patient into an actual person. Charlotte, whatever her name is, define her in terms of her demographics, her psychographics, her age range, her treatment needs, her desires, her fears, all of those things. Profile that person. So I touched upon this earlier for those that have just joined us. I've only got a couple of minutes left. This is my big thing. Your survival in business relies solely on your ability to attract and retain enough of your ideal patients. Obviously, clinical skills aside, you know, that should be a given. So before we finish then, what's your competitive advantage? It's not just enough to be a great practitioner. You've got to be, you know, I think I've highlighted that enough, you know, a jack of all trades in terms of a good understanding of all those different parts of business, marketing and finance. And that can lead to overwhelm and procrastination. You know, there's too much to do and you don't even know where to start. So you just get distracted on Facebook. Who's done that? Yeah. So lack of differentiation, we've talked about that. You know, the dark line between services and competition and therapists and doctors and nurses, you know, it's getting fuzzier. But if you're a medical practitioner, you need to stand out from the crowd. So think about, what do you do better than anyone else? What do you do differently than anyone else? And what do you do that no one else does? And if at the moment you're that new that it is literally just the basic injectables, then you need to start thinking, what's missing in my area? What do my patients in my area want? So we've talked about all of that. So don't end up in a price war where you're selling commodities. Okay, differentiate yourself. Do your market research, look at your competitors, see what everyone's saying about them, what patients are saying about them, and then decide where can you fit into that. So, if you want to take a screenshot there, that will just remind you. So just before we finish then, in terms of marketing success is the right message to the right person at the right time through the right channel. That's quite a lot to think about. So your patients that you're going after, where do they spend time? Different generations will respond to different messages. The younger generation are going to look for, celebrity type pictures. The slightly older generation won't be influenced by that. They need to see social proof. They need to see video testimonials of people just like them. Before and afters, real ones, your own ones, not manufacturer ones. So, and my final thoughts, to survive today, a website really and a Facebook page is not enough, particularly if you're brand new in business. So I'm going to pass over to John. We just need to change the slides over. So I know I threw a lot of information at you there. Do you want to come and find your slides or get Jesus to sort your slides? Anybody got any questions? I threw a lot of information at you. As I say, we can send you the slides. Yes?
We talked about market research. In terms of, can you say a bit more about practically how to go about that within the industry?
Yeah.
It's quite hard to tell.
Okay. Practical, how to go about the market research. Get out there and pretend to be a patient. Yeah. Pick up the phones. Go into their clinic. Yeah, just literally put yourself in the patient's shoes. Right, if I was a prospective patient, what would I be looking for? Trust, a good feeling, a nice clean clinic, a nice warm welcome, somebody to really listen to me, somebody great on the phone. There's lots to it, but take the time to do that. How are they selling themselves?
What about more in terms of actually checking that the footfall for customers is there, as opposed to the customer experience actually checking their offer in that area you want?
Okay, so just to repeat that was to check to see if there's enough customers. Good question. Is there enough footfall in the area? Yeah, you will need to actually do quite a lot of research to check that. There's a lot of things you can do online. There's data that you can buy, but the likelihood is, it's all about location, location, location. We've all heard that one. So if there's another clinic in your area or more than one, particularly if it's a high street chain, then you know that there's enough. It's a bit like you always see Tesco open up next to Sainsbury's, don't you? They know there's enough footfall. Don't open up somewhere, unless you want to, if you want that as your unique advantage, that you're in the middle of nowhere and it's nice and discreet. But it is all about location. But there's data you can buy, a lot of research. But I'd just get out there. Yeah, get out there.